Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Harebrained Games. We're continuing our series today on holiday shopping ventures for people who are looking for games that might be interesting and mostly relatively modern to either play for themselves or pick up for others. We finished up with the 10 light family non-gamer intro games. Now I'm going to go over the 10 light games that aren't necessarily for non-gamers, but are lighter fare for average general gaming communities during the holiday season. So what's on my Christmas list? Pretty much none of these because I have them all. Anyway, so let's go over the top 10 light games. Once again, these are games from relatively recently, so 2018, 2019 games, with the exception that any game that I think transcends and goes beyond to just be that much higher of a recommendation no matter what, those get added. So first one is Villainous. Villainous is available at Target. It's available at regular stores. It's from Disney. It came out of the blue earlier this year, and it is a divine game featuring the villains of Disney. If that doesn't turn you off automatically, then definitely give it a shot. I think you're going to find it's more entertaining than we imagined, and it was a nice surprise. Horrified is a game I really grooved on, especially during Halloween, because it covers sort of that old style, scary, spooky movie, Frankenstein, swamp monster thing. Really sets the stage. It's the best cooperative game that I've played in a long time. I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of Pandemic. I liked it. I didn't love it. And other cooperative games in that vein have been amusing. This one, I think, goes above and beyond because of its variety. Every monster takes a little bit different to tackle. Lots of special abilities, lots of ways that things happen. Everything's tightly woven. You're playing a fun game, and it's generally edge of your seat. So Horrified. Grim Forest came out probably 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember when, but either way, if you love the sort of the fable cottage-like theme, it's not necessarily my absolute favorite as far as the game mechanics go. I think they're a little loose and forgiving, but I like it. I think that it does a tremendous job of making all those fairy tales come to life with really, really high quality pieces. Dice Throne is a game, if you play King of Tokyo or others, where you're sort of like a Yahtzee attack game, Yahtzee Punch-Out per se, where you're taking your character and its special abilities and you're fighting others using dice, and it works really well. Wingspan is a huge hit this year, and deservedly so. It is a game that you can introduce for anyone that has a love of nature or birds particularly. It's going to go ahead and be a little bit, it's slightly more complicated. It will take some, you will want to read the manual first before you introduce it, but it flows. Once you get it going, it flows. You get to look at birds. It's good. So give your friends the bird by playing Wingspan with them. Gizmos is a game that seems surprisingly simple and flashy. It's kind of a programming game where you're trying to build these inventions and machinations using different pieces with this very visceral marble thing. You throw in marbles and out they come in a stream. You pick out the marbles that are available based on the color. You can buy and activate certain cards. It's not as simple as it looks. Again, read the manual before explaining it to other people. But once you start to see the flow, you're like, hey, you can string together some really cool things like Incredible Machine, Rube Goldberg kind of constructs. Unlock. I picked The Wizard of Oz, but really you could pick any series, and they go light, medium, and difficult. But Unlock is a great hour to spend. Once people get going on it, they get really into it. Once you've solved it, so it's disposable. You use it, maybe you hand it over to 4 more people, whatever. Either way, that series is a fantastic game to introduce to people that love the challenge of puzzles, and they do a good job of trying to make it so one person can't just do the whole thing. If they can, whatever they call them. There's a name for that, but anyway. The River. The River was not well received as a game by Days of Wonder, and part of it was because it was too simple. People thought it wasn't simple, there wasn't strategy. I actually found that if you're going to teach someone worker placement, this is the game that does the best job because there's not a lot. You aren't going down this river whether you like it or not. And you're going to place your meeples, and they're going to do different things, and you're going to try to, build up your own, build up yourself and help others not build themselves up. And I thought that for what it was intended to do, which was probably not delight the masses of core gaming who already had way more selection in sort of worker placement. I think it did it well, and I think as a light game that you could introduce to people to say, hey, this is a kind of game you've probably never seen before. You won't catch this in apples to apples lore. Try it out. Grim Masquerade. Grim Masquerade is a game that almost made it to the family games, and it probably could have, except that I thought that it deserved more because of the advanced variants that you could add to it. Grim Masquerade is a deduction game for people that don't like deduction games. You are trying to figure out who everybody else is at this ball and who's dressed up as who, etc. And the fact is, even if you're eliminated, you can still earn points in different ways and still try to mess with other people. That part there is a worthy thing. Greedy Kingdoms is really offbeat, maybe on Amazon kind of game for 2 players that's very cool. You're a greedy kingdom and you're trying to basically build 3 castles before your opponent does. But everybody, it's just done so tightly and so quickly. It's like a three-page manual, and that's it. If you get a chance to play it, that's 2-player only, but it is a nice thing if you're like, hey, let's go off and play this while the turkey's burning. Finally, you can't go wrong with Dominion. I wouldn't put this as a family game because I've tried it on family games and because people just kind of bog down trying to read every single card and understand. But if you have light gamers that are like, yeah, I've played a few things here or there, Dominion usually catches their eye, and it's usually great, especially if you start playing more and you've got people that already played it. My wife and I used to be able to play Speed Dominion and play a game in like 5 minutes because we knew what the cards were. We knew what to do. Some people consider that a drawback. I'm like, yeah, like I got these cards, I got a strategy, let's go with it. Always entertaining. We played hundreds and hundreds of games of Dominion and enjoy it very much. So that is it. Those are my selections for top 10 light games for the Christmas holiday season 2019. Next we'll do our medium games. But for now, thanks, and we'll see you again on Harebrained Games.